Area 51, secret aircraft or alien technology? Let me ask you something before we begin. If it's just a military base, why does it feel like a wound in the desert that refuses to close? Imagine standing in the Nevada wasteland at night, the air dry enough to crack your lips, the silence so complete it hums in your ears, and somewhere beyond the black mountains and warning signs, floodlights burn over a place the government pretended did not exist for decades, a place where maps blurred, where workers were flown in blindfolded, where even saying the name once felt like stepping too close to an edge. They told us it was for testing aircraft, experimental jets slicing through the sky faster than sound, stealth bombers shaped like nightmares, secret technology meant to protect the nation. And that explanation should be enough. It should calm us. It should close the story neatly. But the human mind doesn't rest when it senses something withheld. Because secrecy has a smell, and Area 51 reeks of it. In 1947 something fell from the sky near Roswell, or so the stories go, and ever since then a single question has echoed through decades of denials and redacted documents. What if it wasn't ours? What if what crashed was not metal forged in American factories but something grown, something engineered by hands that never touched Earth before? The official statements changed: weather balloon, experimental device, misidentification, but each correction felt less like clarity and more like someone rearranging furniture in a dark room so you don't notice the locked door at the back. And then there are the workers, the ones who signed lifetime agreements, who boarded unmarked planes from Las Vegas, who could never tell their spouses what they saw in the hangars beneath the desert floor, who aged with secrets pressing behind their eyes, some of them whispering before they died about crafts that had no rivets, no visible propulsion, machines that hummed like living things, materials that bent light around them as if reality itself stepped aside. Think about that for a second. Technology that doesn't burn fuel, that doesn't roar, that simply moves as though gravity is optional. If that exists, and if it has existed for decades, then everything we know about our place in the universe is fragile, like glass under pressure. And maybe that's why the fear grows the longer we talk about it, because the deeper you go, the less this becomes about aliens and the more it becomes about us. About what governments are willing to bury, about how easily truth can be sealed behind fences and armed patrols. Satellite images show runways that stretch like surgical scars across the sand, massive hangars with doors tall enough to swallow skyscrapers, and underground facilities rumored to reach levels so deep they could hide entire civilizations. Some say there are biological labs, that preserved bodies lie in cold storage, elongated skulls, black almond eyes closed forever, autopsy reports stamped classified, doctors who were told never to speak again. Others say the real horror isn't bodies but collaboration, that contact was made, that agreements were signed in shadows, that technology was traded for silence. And if that's true, then the desert isn't hiding wreckage. It's hiding diplomacy with something not human. Imagine the first meeting, if it happened, a dimly lit room beneath miles of rock, generals stiff in their uniforms, scientists trembling with awe, and across from them beings who crossed interstellar space like we cross streets, beings who might look at us the way we look at insects, curious, detached, patient. Would we even understand their intentions? Or would we nod along, desperate for power, desperate to leap centuries ahead in one silent exchange? The fear intensifies when you realize how small the public is in this equation, how easily entire populations can be fed partial truths while the full picture remains locked behind biometric doors. For decades the government denied Area 51 existed at all. And then one day it casually acknowledged the base as if it had always been common knowledge, as if gaslighting an entire planet was just another bureaucratic adjustment. If they could hide something that big for that long, What else sits in classified vaults? What footage have we never seen? What radar anomalies were quietly archived and forgotten? Pilots have reported objects moving at impossible speeds, changing direction without slowing, hovering without wings, and we laugh nervously and call them UFOs as if labeling the unknown makes it harmless. But what if those objects weren't just visitors passing through? What if some of them were ours now, reverse-engineered, flown in secret tests over the desert, human hands gripping controls built from alien blueprints? The thought is thrilling at first, empowering even, until you consider the cost. Reverse engineering something centuries beyond us could be like giving fire to a child in a room full of gasoline. What experiments failed before success was achieved? How many prototypes exploded in silence, their wreckage buried beneath sand? How many test pilots vanished from records, their families told only that it was classified? And then there are the lights. People near the perimeter have reported strange glows rising from behind the mountains, silent triangular silhouettes blotting out stars, sudden booms that shake windows though no aircraft appears on radar. The military calls them routine exercises, flares, illusions. But illusions don't leave that kind of imprint on the human psyche. Illusions don't linger in nightmares decades later. The desert itself feels complicit, endless and empty, swallowing sound, hiding secrets under layers of heat and dust. You could stand miles away and still feel like you're being watched, as if cameras track every movement, as if stepping too close to the boundary might trigger something irreversible. Warning signs line the dirt roads, deadly force authorized, no explanation offered. Why such extreme measures for a simple aircraft testing site? Why the intensity, the paranoia? The more we talk, the more the ordinary explanations begin to crack. Maybe it started as a testing ground for spy planes during the Cold War. Maybe that part is true. But what if something unexpected entered the equation? What if a crash forced their hand? What if scientists were confronted with alloys that couldn't be replicated, with propulsion systems that defied Newton's laws, with biological samples that rewrote textbooks overnight? Imagine the terror in those first lab reports, the realization that we are not alone and never were. Imagine the strategic panic, the immediate calculation of advantage, of weaponization, of secrecy. Because knowledge like that would not be shared freely. It would be locked down tighter than nuclear codes. And so Area 51 becomes not just a base but a vault of existential dread, a place where humanity's understanding of reality might have shifted forever without our consent. Every time a document is declassified, it arrives with thick black lines censoring the heart of the matter, as if the truth itself is too volatile to print. Conspiracy theories multiplied because silence breeds imagination, and imagination, when fed by secrecy, grows fangs. Some believe there are underground tunnels connecting to other bases, hidden rail systems transporting materials unseen, entire sections of the facility that even presidents are not fully briefed on. Think about that. The possibility that the chain of knowledge is so compartmentalized that no single person holds the complete picture, that truth is fragmented deliberately so it can never leak intact. The horror deepens when you realize that if alien technology is real and already integrated into our systems, then history books are incomplete, progress timelines are lies, and the world we think we built through gradual innovation might actually be the result of something far more sudden and far more foreign. The microchip revolution, stealth technology, rapid leaps in aerospace engineering, coincidence or consequence? And what happens if the beings who created that technology return, not as silent crash victims, but as observers checking on a long-term experiment? What if Earth is less a planet and more a project? The desert night grows colder as you consider that possibility. the stars above no longer comforting but watchful. We have always looked up at the sky and wondered if we are alone, but what if the real question is whether we have ever truly been independent? Area 51 stands as a symbol of that uncertainty, a physical location where curiosity collides with fear. The longer we speak about it, the more the simple explanations dissolve, leaving behind a darker, heavier possibility, that somewhere beneath those sands lies proof that humanity is not at the top of the cosmic hierarchy, that we are being studied, guided, perhaps even manipulated. And if that proof exists, if it is stored in cold metallic corridors under armed guard, then the scariest part isn't the aliens, it's the silence. It's the realization that the truth, whatever it is, might have been known for decades, and the world was deemed too fragile to handle it. So the fences remain, the patrols continue, the flights from Las Vegas still land on hidden runways, and the desert keeps its secrets. And every time someone whispers the name Area 51, it feels less like a location and more like a question mark carved into the earth, a reminder that some answers are buried not because they are fictional, but because they are too real, and the deeper you dig, the darker it becomes.